You're watching BCTV. We're all about Branford. You're watching BCTV, Branford Government Television, a service of Branford Community Television. This program is brought to you in part through the support of the town of Branford.
Hopefully, yeah.
Okay.
We've done before.
Little haircut never hurt.
Yeah.
Okay, welcome to the June 12th Board of Police Commissioner meeting. It's called to order. The only one absent is Commissioner Sasulis. Okay. Need a motion for the approval of the minutes from May 8th.
I'll make a motion.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay. Any discussion on the minutes? Then I need a motion to go into executive session with the Chief Mulhern, Deputy Chief Alves, the commission, and one interviewee. And what is
Yeah,
the
for the
last
position
name?
of
Yeah.
entry-level police officer.
Yeah. Is there a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, we're going into executive session at 5:32. Okay, we're back into the regular meeting. I would ask for a motion to approve the employment of Julie Castra to begin on June 26th at 8 a.m., contingent on her medical completion, the medical portion
I'll
of
make
it.
a motion. I'll second.
Okay. Hang on. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay. Okay, then we can move on to the report of the chief. Chief?
All right, good evening, everyone. On your packet there for the report of the chief under the crime analysis, you may see some of the fonts on the report a little different. I want to publicly thank Deb Murdo, our IT director, for putting this together. She stepped in the absence of the crime analysis, the crime analyst. As you know, I gave it a whirl. We couldn't get it to work, so she did do it. With that said, the tables that you will see under the second page of Group B crime stats, we need to take another look at those. Some of the significant increases, I think that they're outliers. I think that they were pulled from different data tables in our quest to get this report done. So the validity of some of that we're going to dive into. Few highlights on that. You will see that the purse snatchings, I can't stress this enough, and this is a continual ongoing problem. Today alone there was one in Guilford, and then they went over and did Wallingford. They've hit us multiple times over the past few months. The common threads are gas stations, supermarkets, when you're putting your groceries in the car or getting gas. The pocketbooks are left on the passenger seats, or better yet, they're in the shopping carts as you're coming out of the store, and they are driving by with stolen vehicles with a person hanging out the window, and they're literally grabbing them as they pass by. We have video. Most of them are within seconds. So, some of the precautions are, lock your car, but we did discuss the fobs. Sometimes they'll still engage. They will open doors. So when you go to those locations, if you can just bring a bank card, lock your purse in the trunk, or don't bring it at all. The behavioral changes we have to make in light of this, it is region-wide, and normally what happens is they will do one, and then immediately it'll pop up in another town. So they did us at Stop and Shop, then they went to Southington, did one there. We had another one, they did one at Stop and Shop Gas, then they went down to West Haven, did another one. The common theme is stolen cars, juveniles. They're not stopping for the police, and it is an ongoing problem. So, I basically we're at the point where we're telling everybody, do not bring your purse when you go to those locations. They're specifically targeted. We've increased patrols, and when we hear one, we are notified. So if we know that, say, Madison or Guilford or, Wallingford got hit, cars are going to those areas. The deterrent factor, it just seems like, it's within seconds. So highly populated shopping districts, they're all getting hit. Every town, no one's immune. So that's disappointing to say that's on there. The theft from vehicles, again, lock the cars. Those we did see an increase. This isn't uncommon. There's crews of individuals. Again, they'll pick a certain town and whatever night it is. So if it's an off night for, North Branford, it's our night. And that is region-wide also. That continues. Again, patterns and routines. Lock your cars at night. When you do lock them, if it's not a Kia or a specialty vehicle that they can hotwire very easily, they won't break the window normally. We're not seeing a ton of that unless you leave a purse visible. And we did see another spike in the catalytic converters. One of the offenders was so brazen that it was broad daylight at the Starbucks, right as people were in line getting their coffee. They had done one in the Kohl's parking lot earlier, and then went across the street and did one there. Witnesses called us. They were apprehended for other crimes in the city of West Haven, and we are pursuing warrants for them. So those are just a couple of the increases that we are seeing.
Chief, I have a question. The theft from vehicle, that's over and above the purse snatching?
That's a separate category. So theft from vehicle would be more encompassing someone went through your vehicle, and took items out of your vehicle. The theft of parts and accessories would be they cut the catalytic converter off. We tried to clean those categories up. At times they would get mixed, and we cross-check those.
Okay.
And may I make a comment? The recent incident that was reported in the patch, which was extensively reported in the patch, of what happened with the 13 and 14-year-old, and then that they were caught at the exit. I may be wrong about this, and I read it with great interest, of course. I wonder if the public might not be more aware if we had more reporting like that. Because, first of all, the first thing I thought of was, well, great for the police officers that were doing that job. It was terrific. But I don't think people understand, the general public, maybe I'm wrong, but what it entails for when one of these juveniles breaks in and steals a bike or a car. And that was, I don't know who did the reporting on that, but it was really extensive.
Yeah, and that was one night.
And helpful.
That was that encompassed 2 shifts, and one of the officers was spit in the face,
Right.
So the stolen cars, in my career, they're pointing to numbers, but to see the secondary crimes that are being committed, whether they're robberies or shots fired or purse snatchings with these stolen cars, I think that there is some ongoing look at the juvenile justice system. I think there needs to be some continued look at it. I don't think that it's our place as law enforcement to dictate how they do that, but we're seeing the effects. I have here, these are just our reports from the purse snatching. And like I said, again, the common themes are stolen cars, juveniles, and we are thankful that none of our citizens or our patrons at these places have been hurt, but in other towns that's not the case. Right. So at what point does someone get hurt? And we've seen that. So we have our eye on it. You never want to shift blame and say, well, we're not the only ones, but that is the case. But it does come in multiples, and it is very quick. So we have to make some changes to how we conduct ourselves, and putting these type of things out on our social media. We do want to have a presence that shows the values of the department and the good service that we do. And we also want to be cognizant of not always to report every single crime that happens, because that can have an adverse effect also. But I've been saying this for I don't know how many months or even years with the stolen cars. The numbers just keep coming in, and you know, that story, the officers were a good citizen called, suspicious activity. The officers were there, foot chase, made an apprehension, you know, so they're out there doing what they can. So kind of shifting a little bit, related to the crime analysis, I am very happy to report that as of June 19th, we'll have a new crime analyst.
Oh,
We are very, very lucky. Kind of use the baseball analogy. We finally hit one out of the park. She has about 10 years experience in crime analysis with another police department, overlaid with a very strong in-depth knowledge of accreditation, which was the perfect marriage that we were looking for in that job description. So we're hoping to have her on board in June 19th, get her onboarded, get all the final paperwork and get her going. If the commission, if anyone has any recommendations, I'm a firm believer when we look at some of these reports to kind of give a little artistic freedom. If she wants to change some things, include some things. There's some of those categories that are just pulled out of the tables that I don't think necessarily either have offenses every month or they're really significant that need to be on there. But if you have any ideas or anything that you would like to see changed or included or expanded upon, let me know or just shoot me an email, and when I speak with her and get her going, she can look at it. You know, the format will probably stay pretty much the same, but if you do have some input, that'd be great. But we were
Good for you.
very lucky. And I will say, you know, thanks to the town and HR working with us, as you know, that salary, we lost our previous crime analyst because of the salary. We were able to go through the process with the RTM and the Board of Finance and get that increased, and I think that's going to pay dividends for us. So it was a
that's great.
long road, but we made it. Summer's upon us. This time of year, we try to get the boat out as much as we can. I know this weekend was very busy out on the waters. We're going to continue to get the boat out as much as we can. However, you know, we do have that constraint of operators. We have a few officers that we are still working with and hope to get them up to speed. And also, Captain Watrous has been putting the schedule together. We increase our presence down at Stony Creek this time of year with our community service officer and or our supernumerary officers. We have a presence down there Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, coming up now during these summer months because we do see the increase in activity down there.
May I ask a question?
Yep.
Can you send out the flyer about the golf carts again?
We just did it yesterday, I
Oh,
believe.
good, because they're out in full force.
Oh,
Mine
the violators?
Yes.
Oh, not the inspections.
No, well,
Violators.
the violators. Because I think that was probably helpful.
Yeah, we
Last
will, we'll put that on our social media diet and get that back out there.
Appreciate it.
As far as the budget goes, we are coming up on the close of the budget right now. We are trending on the overtime, depending on what reimbursements come in with some of our DOT grants. We probably will be over on the overtime line. This upcoming fiscal budget, I did transfer $20,000 or $30,000 out of another account to get us through next year because of the increase. What that's tied to, one of the biggest drivers of that is the increase in overtime for the risk protection orders, where the officers were coming in to see the judge and then having to go to multiple hearings. It got to the point where it was such a draw on our staffing that it was basically, you know, 2 to 3 to 4 officers every day on overtime coming in for these orders. We worked in conjunction with the court, and we pulled Officer Mike Amarenti out of the patrol division and assigned him to records specifically as our risk protection officer liaison. So he will now help prepare some of the paperwork and meet with the officer to present the risk protection order, and then he is on the hook for the subpoenas that come for the hearings, and we've seen a very big improvement. But that improvement comes at a cost, and that's pulling another officer out of our patrol division. So as we move forward in the future, I will be looking to conduct kind of a staffing analysis in different ways, more of a time analysis, and where our people are deployed, and look at the future of the staffing. I don't see that position going away. This is not going to be a temporary. That individual or that position will probably be with us to say for the future, until if there's any legislative changes that are made, which I don't believe there's going to be enough that'll stop the demand and the impact on the department. Also within the budget, as you know, the fuel costs were over on that. That wasn't something that it's not surprising. It's not significant, but we will be over on that. We will be way under on the personnel costs because we're consistently struggling to fill these positions. So there is money in the personnel line. When we do get full staffed, if we ever can make it to that, then things can get a little more interesting because we won't have that. But none of these are significant amounts of money. It's just important for us to always have that money in personnel to be able to fill the positions, because if we don't have that money there, then we can't fill them. So that's a quick snapshot of the budget. Overall, really good shape. We maintained our training standards, a ton of training. With that said, last month we finished up the active shooter building search and work in conjunction with our fire department. They utilized the old Canoebrook Center. Great class. The feedback from the officers was fantastic, and a great job by all involved. So you may recall we did have an allocation that was approved from the commission for the purchase of the weapon-mounted systems, the LED red light system. That bid has been was put out and it was awarded, and our firearms officers are working with the manufacturer and the vendor to start bringing that stuff in. That is going to be a minimum of a 2-day firearms training for every officer. 1 day is going to be them getting used to it, developing some muscle memory, and then maybe some live fire, and then the next day it'll be all live fire. Myself and the deputy just went through our recertification for firearms. They did present us with those weapons and weapon systems, and they are very beneficial. I think other departments have switched over. We're joining. We're an early adopter, but I do think in the future you're going to see these industry-wide for us. Again, on the training, we did the active shooter OC baton training, and other than that, I have a bunch of correspondence. I'll go through those quickly, and then I'll turn it over to the deputy to give you an update on our staffing and recruitment efforts. The first letter we received was from a Branford resident here from the Pawson attempted home invasion from last month. She just wanted to reach out and basically say, everything the officers go through and in times like this, how much it really meant to them, and the impact on her daughter who was present for that. And she wanted to thank everybody. We appreciate her time in recognizing the officers. We received a letter of appreciation from Chief John Sullivan of the Department of Revenue Services, Criminal Investigation Division. Lieutenant Roach, Officer Abley, and Johnson helped them with a issue they had with a member of their department. I want to reach out and thank them for that. May 22nd, we had a uniformed presence at the funeral of Frank Myjack, Sergeant Myjack. He passed away. He was a member of the department here, a well-respected member who devoted a very, very big portion of his life to the Branford PD and the Branford community. And it's just a letter thanking us for our presence and the help during that funeral. William O'Brien always catches some really great pictures for us for the parade. He sent us a couple really good pictures of the Memorial Day parade, and he wanted to thank us for our honor guard leading the parade. I don't know if you've ever had a chance to see the honor guard, but we did invest some money in their specialty uniforms, and they're very proud of what they do, and they look great and represent the department very well. Very traditional and impressive. We appreciate their efforts. Sergeant Loftus met with some of our senior citizens to talk about the scams and the different types of scams are out there. Every day you can look at the media and there's a new scam or they're calling representing themselves as police officers that your grandson or granddaughter's been locked up. We need you to get gift cards. So we're really investing in some time, and one of the attendees wanted to thank Sergeant Loftus for his time in highlighting that. And I didn't know, but Sergeant Carney and Canine Arrow, they were involved in the Rotary Club cookbook project, and I guess she really likes grilled balsamic pork and peaches. That was her meal of choice. Yeah, I guess. But just another, these type of outreach efforts with the community, especially Sergeant Carney, she does a great job with that, and the dog really breaks down a lot of barriers. So thank her for that. And lastly, this one was Yale New Haven Health EMS Week. They recognize those in the EMS chain, and specifically public safety dispatchers. And Alyssa Schultz, one of our telecommunicators, was nominated this year, and she was recognized as the telecommunicator of the year. Not only is she cool, calm, under pressure, but we also do, when we do our Pro QA, the quality assurance on our medical side of the vetting of the medical calls and getting the proper resources, that is looked at, and they are graded, and the service that they provide and what points, and they get graded, and she's consistently a high achiever. And it's a very good award for her. She's certainly deserving of it. So we congratulate her, and we're very fortunate to have her. She's a very good, high-performing employee. So with that very long report, I will turn it over to the deputy for just an update on the building project and staffing. Yep.
So in terms of staffing, we've changed how we now recruit officers, and we've gone to a rolling application process. So since we've been able to get ourselves to full staff, although we've hired many employees since 2019, we still lose a lot of employees just due to regular attrition and retirements. We've opened up a rolling process so that candidates can apply at any time. They go to Police App, you upload your resume to Police App, and then we vet out these candidates through a pre-screening process where we look at the resumes, and then we take them into a police process with us, where we then give them the traditional process of a written exam, the physical agility test, background investigation. And what we're finding and what we hope is that this will eliminate us losing competitive candidates to other agencies that are running a test around the same time frame that we're running a test. And what we found is, like, we've lost by a week or two some competitive candidates to another agency that were just a couple weeks ahead of us in terms of testing. So that's one change that we've made. We have a couple candidates now that are in that process that we've found through the rolling application process, and we will continue to vet them out for one current vacancy that we have right now, and then we have another anticipated opening in October due to an officer scheduled to retire. So that's the update there. For the building project, on May 23rd, the Public Building Commission held a special meeting on the project where the Public Building Commission was updated as to the status of the project. At that time, architect Brian Humes stated that he expected the design development phase to be completed by early July. Downs Construction reported that their cost estimators are working on cost estimates, which they anticipate to be completed in August. We discussed energy efficiencies of the building. We discussed seeking incentive programs through Eversource and additional efforts that we can make to make the building as energy efficient as possible. We've done that along with help from town engineer John Hofferly, who looked at different energy modeling proposals. However, the proposals that we've received so far are very expensive outside of current funding that's available for the project. So the decisions that we have to make on mechanicals for the project will have to be made based on our environmental, financial, and operational impacts to our organization moving forward. So basically, we're still in very, very early stages. Our involvement's been minimal in terms of Public Building Commission. Brian Humes, they're in design development phase, and cost estimators are working on the cost estimates. The chief and I have discussed phasing of the project when it does get going. We've been looking at how the project will be phased and how the construction end will go. We've looked at some different ideas. We're considering maybe a move to a town-owned building off-site during certain phases of the project. So our patrol division may move off-site while the downstairs is renovated. When we come up to the second floor, we may move from one side of the building to the other side of the building, or employees may move to an off-site location as well. So we've been working on that just in anticipation of, getting the project going, if and when it moves forward in the future. So that's all I have for now.
Okay, thank you.
May I ask a question before we start traffic, please? May I ask why the commission doesn't meet in the summer, and is that standard for other police commissions?
It's just the 1 month
It's just
of
August.
That's, I don't know, that's
I'm just curious why that happens.
I was under the impression it's because it's a popular vacation time, and it's
Maybe in the past, a lot of commissioners couldn't make meetings then
Yeah.
because they decided to take August as a pass.
I'm just curious what other commissions do. Do you know?
Well, been here 5 years, it's been like that. So the history behind it, I don't know, but the commission obviously approves the schedule pursuant to I believe the charter, and we post that. So if that's something the commission, there might have been a quorum issue in the past, in a continual, but that's certainly up to the commission.
Well, I personally would like to see it year-round, but I don't know the background as to why. Is it something that anybody else is interested in, or am I the only one that thinks it's odd?
I don't think it's odd. I would be interested to see why that was voted that way. I mean, it's 2 months. It's December and August.
Yeah.
And I think-
Okay, that's what I'm
yeah.
thinking of, yeah.
Yeah, so, and
Why, I mean, to me, it feels like if I'm committed to a commission, then, I mean, we all take vacations, but of course, if there's a quorum, why shouldn't there be a meeting? To keep up with whatever is presently going on. It's just the way I feel about it.
Well, the schedule is set for this year, but as we near to the end of the year, we can certainly address that and reopen it for discussion for next year.
And you can always call a special meeting. You can always call a
Yes.
special meeting. As long as it's posted.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think it predates.
yeah,
It's been that way for a long time.
yeah.
And traditionally, years ago, some of the other boards and commissions, including the RTM traditionally years ago would take July and August off. They don't do that any longer, but they had done that in the past too. And it's very possible the Board of Finance, I'd have to go back and look at their schedules, but some of the boards and commissions used to take the summer off.
Or they cancel the meetings if they
Or,
don't have
they cancel
action
the meeting if they don't
items.
have, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I found with the RTM and the RT subcommittees, that in the summer, the meetings were more likely to be canceled.
Well, yeah, and the special meeting, if we do have business that needs to be conducted, like, I don't know if you remember, we did post a special meeting, a couple weeks ago. We were trying to be in a race to get another recruit officer that was in another process. So the commission's been great when it comes to that. We can just call a special meeting. So if there's business that needs to be conducted and get done, there's never been a problem. Like, we can call a special meeting. But we don't close, so whatever the commission would like, we're here.
Well, I personally would like to meet year-round, but as you say, if the schedule's set, why? Because we voted on it in January, is that what you're saying?
We all approved it, yeah.
Gotcha. I wished I'd known. Okay.
Okay, shall we move on to traffic requests? First thing on the agenda was, there was a meeting with the Connecticut DOT regarding the Route 146 Corridor Management Plan. It was attended by Deputy Chief Alves, myself, Lieutenant Ramey, Lieutenant Roach, and...
No, it was just us three on the corridor.
Oh, that's right, you're right,
management.
you're
Yeah,
right,
you're thinking of the
okay.
public building.
And it was just asking for our feedback on traffic and safety issues as they start to put their plan together. The second request was for traffic enforcement on Court Street, where cars are parking, and they're not supposed to be parking. It's a no parking zone. It's blocking traffic. It's creating a problem for emergency vehicles that need to get down there. So the Traffic Commission is recommending, Traffic Committee, I should say, is recommending to the Commission, Lieutenant Ramey will go down and have a discussion with the restaurant owner to see about putting either a sign in the window or putting, not lollipops, what do you call them? Cones. Figure out some way to kind of alleviate the problem there. The next request was last month we all received the engineering's traffic study for Pawson Park, but we didn't have a chance to review it for discussion, so it was deferred until this month. And I'll go through the recommendations that the Traffic Committee has recommended for approval, and then we can take a vote on it. Okay. First one is installing a digital radar speed sign permanently on Pawson Road. Also installing a center line and fog lines to give vehicles a visual barrier. The next one was installing an additional stop sign at the intersection of Old Pawson Road and Pawson Road in front of 33 Old Pawson Road. It's also recommended to install a stop bar and oncoming traffic does not stop sign at both the existing stop sign and recommended stop sign. The stop sign, ahead sign, should also be placed in advance of the recommended stop sign to alert oncoming traffic of the new stop sign. Next time, there were sightline concerns on Summer Island Road, and the engineering department is recommending removing the tree and trimming and maintaining the vegetation on town-owned property at 16 Summer Island Road, as well as 69 Summer Island Road to 101 Summer Island Road. The last one is a digital speed sign, radar speed sign, to be installed on Linden Avenue to further reduce these speeds. The Traffic Committee recommends that we approve those recommendations with the understanding that the radar signs will be moved around, as it was discussed that when they're left in one place, people become oblivious and don't even see them anymore. So I'm asking for a motion to approve that list of recommend. Oh, I'm sorry.
Add them to the agenda first.
You're right, okay. I need a motion to add this to the agenda, and then we can move on the recommendations. Is there a motion to
I'll make
accept?
a motion.
Janice, is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Now that it's been added to the agenda, is there a motion to approve the recommendations by the engineering department in the town hall for Pawson Road?
Make a motion.
Is there a second? Jan?
Yes.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Then there was another item that we need a motion on to add it to the agenda, and that is a request for a flashing stop sign on Eastwood and Leeds Island Road intersection. Could I have a motion to add this to the agenda?
I'll make the motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. So the traffic committee is recommending to the commission that we approve a stop ahead sign on Eastwood and repaint the stop bar on Eastwood and cut back the brush on 146 that's posing a line of sight issue. I would ask for a motion to approve these recommendations.
Make the motion.
Is there a second? Christine, was that you?
Second, I'm sorry.
Okay.
Yes.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. And then, the other item that needs to be added to the agenda is the request for another engineering traffic feasibility study on Linden Avenue and the installation of solar-powered speed signage. Is there a motion to add this to the agenda?
I'm confused.
We talked about this.
We did, but I thought you said that it was included in the
Well,
original
their
report.
answer is going to be no because of that, but we did approve the speed signage and traffic enforcement.
Okay, I'll make the motion to
Is
add
there,
it.
all right, is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. So again, what the traffic committee decided on was to approve the radar speed signage and traffic enforcement, again, with the understanding that it will be moved around. There is no action taken on the solar-powered flashing stop sign. So I ask for motion on that
Make a
to approve
motion.
it? Huh?
Make a motion.
Okay.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. That was,
Good job,
Yeah.
Patty. That's a lot of work.
I'll have to remember.
Good job.
Oh, thank you. Okay, is there, the next is the report of the chair. Since I'm just filling in, I have no report. And citizen comments, we don't have any citizens. So is there a motion to adjourn?
A motion to adjourn.
Janice, motion, Bob seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, this meeting is adjourned at 6:30.
This program was brought to you in part through the support of the Town of Branford. Watch town meetings and other videos on demand at BranfordTV.org.